Oh, somewhere. Our friend Robert Meyer Burnett has probably got tears, a little bit of tears, pouring one out for our friends in Australia.
Yeah.
As physical media continues its not so slow, but continuously steady and aggressing death knell. As it has been announced that Disney is no longer going to be selling Blu-rays or DVDs, physical media, in the entire continent of Australia. This comes from the folks over at Screen Rant who write the following. Disney will no longer be releasing DVDs or Blu-rays in Australia, striking a major blow against physical media. Despite putting their theatrical content on their streaming service Disney Plus after running it in cinemas, Disney has continued to release physical media for all their films. This has allowed fans of Disney to keep a physical collection of their favorite films without having to rely on streaming services. But now, the Digital Bits reports that Disney won't be selling DVDs or Blu-rays in Australia following the release of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in August. So, good little piece of movie trivia if you ever want to pull this out. What was the last Disney physical media released in Australia? Guardians of the Galaxy 3. This story was corroborated by 7 News, which says that once existing DVDs and Blu-rays are sold out in Australia, they won't be replenished by Disney any longer. Disney DVD and Blu-ray collectors will have to instead rely on overseas retailers to keep getting physical media copies of Disney's later releases. Okay, so whenever the discussion about is physical media dying, the retort that often comes up, and it's understandable, is a list of reasons why physical media is great. But the conversation is not, is physical media great? It is dying. And I mean, we talked about in recent years about how a bunch of major manufacturers of Blu-ray players and whatever have just stopped manufacturing Blu-rays. Blu-ray and DVD sales year over year continue to absolutely fall like a stone in water. No one's buying them anymore. I mean, that's hyperbole, but I mean, realistically, nobody's buying physical media anymore, and it's just dropping more and more and more and more. And I'm going to tell you right now, Disney is not just discontinuing DVDs and Blu-rays in Australia for the heck of it. They're not just going, we don't like Australia. Let's just not sell physical media there. I'm telling you, this is step one. This is continent one. This is what's coming. And we talked about this a few years ago as the streaming services and the streaming wars were continuing. It is, counterintuitive to the purposes of these studios to put out Blu-ray and physical media releases because they all want people to get their streaming service. They want that to be the place you need to go to watch their movies. And we can discuss and debate the merits of them having that attitude because there are good things about it, there are bad things about it, but it is what it is. That's what they're doing. And it's going to be interesting to see what studios like Sony that doesn't have a streaming service, how they'll respond to this. But even without a streaming service, like we said, the numbers do not lie. Fewer and fewer people every single year at an increasingly rapid rate are buying physical media. Fewer and fewer physical media players are even being produced, let alone purchased. And so while this is really hard for people who are fans, and it's really a bad thing for all the pros that people do list off about the pros of having physical media. This is unfortunate for all those things. As a matter of fact, we're living in an era right now where a lot of the streaming services are realizing, wow, a lot of the content on our streaming services cost us more money than they make it. Let's dump them. And what happens if you don't have a physical copy? I mean, these are all valid discussions and debates to have, but it is what it is. And I'm not saying that in the next 3 months, we're going to find out that Africa no longer sells Disney DVDs and Blu-rays. And then Europe no longer sells it. And then North America. But it's coming. Maybe not in the next 3 months. Maybe not in the next 6 months. But Australia's not going to be the last one of these. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Mint Mobile. Signing your life away to a big wireless provider is kind of like being trapped on a roller coaster from hell. Sure, it looks like fun at first. They probably even threw in a free phone, but now you can't get off. Month after month of insane bills and unexpected thrills, like overages and surprise fees. If that sounds like your current big wireless plan, it's time to get off the ride with Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are just $15 a month. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for just $15 a month. You guys know before before I came to Mint Mobile, I was paying triple what I am paying now on the standard big wireless plan, and I will never go back. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. To get your new unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped right to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Anyway, Chris, I don't think you're surprised to hear this. They're starting with Australia. Do you think that maybe it's just, this is a case where there are some specific circumstances and contexts in Australia where selling Blu-rays and DVDs there make it exceptionally restrictive and difficult? Or do you see this the way I do, that this is just step one? I don't know. How do you see this?
I view it as a test because this is obviously based on the sales they've been doing with DVDs and Blu-rays. Because how much money does it cost to make those? How much money does it cost to then give out those points to everybody else on the back end?
And ship them out.
Exactly. So it's a cost prohibitive thing for them right now, especially with all these streaming services that they're pushing towards everyone to be on. The downside is you, the consumer, then are extra reliant on all of these streaming services because then they control what you have access to. If you don't have that physical media copy, some of these things are going to go the way of the dodo and you're never going to see it again, theoretically. I know Kristen Shaw posted this kind of heartbreaking tweet about when her show got taken off Disney Plus, a Disney Plus original, saying, does anyone know how I can get a copy of this? Because I kind of want to show my kids one day my work. And so there is that very, very bleak look at what happens when everything goes to streaming and nothing's physical media. I think that's why Robert Meyer Burnett is such a big proponent of it, because that way you have it in its original intended form and its original release kind of style. You don't have any edits done to it or anything like that. And you have it in your hot little hands forever, so long as you still have a DVD or Blu-ray player, because I don't know how much longer those are going to be around either. The big thing here is I think they're just going to test the waters and see how this works for everyone. The other thing, too, is if, things are all going on to streaming and you don't have those DVDs, those video, straight-to-video things anyway, or you don't have to pay the actors and writers who made those because you're not paying them, there's points, and we're still trying to figure out how that works on streaming.
The obvious answer to this, but it's actually not that obvious, and it comes with its own problems, is services like the Apple Play Store, the Google Play Store, where, I purchased a bunch of movies because, when a movie is up on the Apple Play Store or a show is up on the Google Play Store and it's just sitting there, nothing's being paid to anybody. It's not actually costing Apple or Google or other services like that any money for it to sit there. On a streaming service is different. Even if it's just sitting there and nobody's watching it, they got to continue to pay out licensing fees and things like that. If it's sitting on the Google Play Store or Apple Play Store, it's not costing anything until somebody buys it.
Yes.
Then once somebody buys it, money has to be distributed, but only if somebody buys it, right? But I have a feeling physical media is not going to be the last thing to fall. I also horribly believe that at some point, Disney and Paramount and Warner Brothers and Universal, they're going to start, and this will probably be years away, but they're going to start pulling their product from things like the Apple Play Store or the Google Play Store. Any place. They want their streaming services to be the only place you can watch their content.
Oh, absolutely. I know this is a very bizarre comparison. This is like if you go to a Jimmy Buffett concert. All right. When you go to a Jimmy Buffett concert, you can only drink Landshark beer. You can only have Margaritaville tequila. You can only have a Jimmy Buffett product while you're there.
I'm so fascinated to know how you know that.
My dad is a huge parrot head. Also, so is Amy Newman. Amy Newman loves...
Really? She's a Jimmy Buffett guy?
I'm about to go to like a bridal shower that's Margaritaville themed.
Is it going to be at Universal Studios?
No.
Okay, because they still have one there,
They still have that there, with the Margarita volcano and everything. But yeah, I've been to like 5 Jimmy Buffett concerts. My dad loves him so much. But Jimmy Buffett is a really smart businessman who makes sure that when you are utilizing his services, you are only dabbling in his products and nothing else. And that is what I feel like Disney's going to do eventually, is you can only do Disney things through Disney. And that makes the most sense. If you have a streamer, why would you want your stuff anywhere else?
Yeah, and it's not just going to be Disney.
Buffett's a billionaire. I just looked up his net worth. Now we know why he's a billionaire.
Now
merchandising.
You're sure you're not doing what my wife did at one point where she confused, this is true, she confused Jimmy Buffett with Warren Buffett?
Yep.
She was like, we went into Margarita's, she said, wait a minute, he owns this restaurant? It's like...
No.
Does he wear Hawaiian shirts? Like, I
Warren
guess.
Warren Buffett is worth billions.
Billions in multiple digits and multiple zeros.
But Jimmy is worth 1 billion.
I had no
job,
idea.
Jimmy.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video. Make sure you do the standard like and subscribe thing. And also, don't forget, we have a daily podcast known as the John Campea Show podcast. You can find it on your favorite podcasting app of choice, like Apple or Spotify. Go subscribe to it today.